Hello and welcome to Conquering Alba, where we take you to the historical places that help make Scotland what it is today. Today is part 2 of Aberdour Castle and Gardens. For those who are interested in the TV series Outlander, Aberdour Castle plays the part of the Benedictine monastery Abbey de Anne de Beaupré. Parts of Aberdour Castle date from around 1200, making Aberdour one of the two oldest debatable standing castles left in Scotland, along with Castle Sween in Argyll, which was built around the same time. The earliest part of the castle was a modest hall house on a site overlooking the Dour Burn. Over the next 400 years, the castle was successively expanded according to contemporary architectural ideas. The Hall House became a tower house in the 15th century and was extended twice in the 16th century. The final addition was made around 1635 with a refined Renaissance details, and the whole was completed by a walled garden to the east and terraced gardens to the south. The terraces, dating from the mid-16th century, form one of the oldest gardens within Scotland. The castle is largely the creation of the Douglases Earls of Mortar, who held Aberdour from the 14th century. The Earls used Aberdour as a second home until 1642 when their primary residence, Dalkeith House, was sold. A fire in the late 17th century was followed by some repairs, but in 1725 the family purchased nearby Aberdour House and the medieval castle was allowed to fall into decay. Today only the 17th century wing remains roofed, while the tower is mostly collapsed. Government troops were stationed at Aberdour Castle during the Jacobite Rising of 1715. During their stay, a second fire again caused extensive damage. In 1725, the Mortons bought an adjacent property, Curtle Hill House, which they renamed Aberdour House, and the castle ceased to be the residence. The East Range was again repaired and was used for various purposes, including a school, a barracks, and a Masonic hall. In 1924, the castle and gardens were placed in state care and continued to be managed by Historic Environment Scotland. The terraced gardens dates from the time of the 4th Earl of Mortar, who succeeded in 1553, and it comprises of 4 board L-shaped terraces. At the bottom of the terraces was an orchard, laid out in 1690, and recently replanted. The extent of the terracing was only rediscovered following excavations in the 1970s after parts of the garden had been used as a market garden. Archaeological investigations were undertaken between 1977 and 1980 to determine whether the lower terraces, which were depicted on a map of 1740, had indeed existed. Although the foundations of the terraces were found, the remains could not be precisely dated, but are thought to have been constructed in the second half of the 16th century. The high retaining walls were rebuilt in 1981 and the terraces were laid with grass since the excavations had not revealed any evidence of historic planting schemes. A 16th century beehive shaped dovecote or pigeon house is located to the south, containing around 600 nesting boxes. The 30-foot structure rises in 4 steps, divided by rat courses, projecting ribs which prevented rats from climbing inside. The 17th century walled garden covers around 5,000 square metres, or 1.2 acres, with walls up to 13 foot high. It lies to the west of the outer courtyard and was originally entered from doors in the southwest and northeast corners. These doors have carved pediments with strapworks and the Douglas heart emblem over the west door, which led to the terraces. The east door led to St Finnian's Church and is carved with the date 1632, together with a monogram of the initials of the Earl and Countess. A kitchen garden was located across the Kirk Lane and bee bowls are located in the walls. A summer house was built into the south-east garden wall in 1675, but was demolished in the 18th century. In 1691, botanist James Sutherland supplied exotic plants including Persian jasmine, tamarisks and figs to Aberdour from the Psychic Garden in Edinburgh, the forerunner of the Royal Botanic Garden. The east range of 1635 comprises a long, narrow building with a short projecting wing to the southeast. It is the only part of the castle that is still roofed. The first floor of the wing is occupied by a long gallery accessed from the central range, with stables and storerooms below. It is within the east range that Aberdour's painted ceiling is located. The white things that we can currently see in the mortar of Aberdour Castle are actually oyster shells. Oyster shells were very common locally and inexpensive, and the shells were used to stop lime mortar between the stones from being squeezed out during construction. We hope you have enjoyed today's video here at Aberdour Castle. It is amazing to walk around one of Scotland's oldest castles and being able to walk around its beautiful gardens. If you have enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe for more of Scotland's historic places, and until next time, Alba go bra.